Forgot to add myself in. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the ABJ Podcast. You'd think I'd have this figured out by now because we are at episode 50. Started this back in October. New brand, new everything. Trying it on my own. And here we are, 50 episodes in. I could not ask for a better guest. I'll bring him in 1 minute. But first, let's get to our sponsor, Elevation 1470. They are reinventing the style, bringing traditional and nostalgic apparel to Frackville and the surrounding Schuylkill County area. They pride themselves on hometown heritage and community. Elevation 1470, or it's a trail that begins. You can find them at Elevation 1470 to find the latest in traditional nostalgic style in Schuylkill County, PA. If you see me wearing my Schuylkill Mall hoodie, that's sorry, I'm all tangled up underneath me here. That is from Elevation 1470. I wear a bunch of hats and merchandise they have. It's really, really cool. Links below for all things ABJ, as well as my guest. I have some merchandise pages up. I adjusted all the prices. So if you went there before and you've seen t-shirts that were really, really expensive, I knocked them all way, way, way down. So go check out the Teespring. A lot of good stuff on there. Some new logos coming up. That asshole scumbag Ricky Price came out at the Sanctuary the other night rocking a t-shirt, and now I don't even know how he got access to my social medias and how he got access to my merch page, but now this is for sale. I don't know why. I hate ABJ t-shirts, so either you love me or hate me. You can rock the merchandise to find out what it is. And also logos by Hunter for both these logos. You can go check him out on all social media, also in my link tree. But brand new logo made by Hunter. I have an ECW, I have a AEW, and now I have an TNA logo. Look at this thing. This kid is just banging it out. If you need logos or art done, please hit up my boy Hunter. His turnaround is super quick. Give him an idea. He can spoof it. He can do really fun things. Hit him up and get some cool art done. Logos by Hunter on Twitter and Instagram. Without further ado, let me get my little fancy jingle up there. Without further ado, let me bring in my guest for episode 50. This is a guy who I seen wrestle a long time ago, before the pandemic. I immediately fell in love with his style, everything that he's doing, and him and his now girlfriend beat the shit out of each other, but they weren't even dating at the time. I think this is where they fell in love, because I fell in love with both of them at this point in time as well, because they went out and put on probably one of the best intergender matches I've ever seen in my life. It spawned a logo for a podcast for me later on, and he's been someone who's been insanely supportive of me on my journey of entering the professional wrestling world of either content creating or being a podcaster. So it's awesome that he's episode 50 on this new journey. Let me bring him in. Kit Raff.
Anthony Blackwell Jr. What's up, baby?
What's going on, my guy? I appreciate you doing this and coming on the podcast.
Of course, you just hyped me up tremendously. So now I was in a good mood like 5 minutes ago, but now I'm ecstatic. So
yeah. Well, listen, look at the chat already blowing up. Ricky Price said, yeah, you'd think, making fun of me here, laughing.
That's my son.
Yeah, Ricky Price, that goddamn bum. I still need to make a logo and make a logo for Instagram. Also, Gears of Kai also makes a lot of logos for me too, so hit him up also. Mick saying we're almost at 700 subscribers. You're absolutely right. And Peter DeLong says you are incredibly handsome. So keep the comments coming. If you have any questions yourself while we're going along, please insert them, and I will definitely get your comments in. But yeah, man.
Who did he call handsome, me or you?
Probably you. I would definitely say you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Look at Moonlight Sun Skyros in here. Says, hell yeah. Kite Raff.
Hey.
Kite Raft.
Hey, careful.
At least it's not that this is going to do two T's.
Yeah, that would set me off. Or one.
I almost did that in the promo to be funny. But but man, you've been in this game a long time. You've I'll let you tell your story, but like I said, you've been here a minute, coming from the Wilkes-Barre Scranton area. Traveled for a long time, did some West Coast stuff, part of a tag team that is on off because you guys are on different sides of the country. Man, where do we begin here?
I mean, we have a 9-year span of just me wrestling and then 28 years of life. So you're the host. Wherever you want me to begin, dog.
Well, 28 years of life, 9 years wrestling. I'll ask my traditional first question here. When were you hit by the wrestling bug, and do you remember when it happened?
Absolutely. Bad Blood 1997 was I don't know if it's the first time I watched wrestling, but it's the first time that I could cognitively remember watching wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really, really afraid of The Undertaker, like petrified. And it was him and Michaels in the Hell in a Cell. And in hindsight, I remember it's funny because I was cheering for Shawn Michaels the whole time, but he was the heel. Like, he was the guy that little kid me should have hated. But I was so afraid of The Undertaker that it didn't matter. Michaels was the face. So that's the first time I watched wrestling, and debut of Kane, dog.
It's got to be Kane.
Red guy comes out of nowhere, rips a door off the cage, and beats the shit out of the dude that I was just petrified of. So that's also the story behind my literally lifelong Kane obsession.
Yeah, Kane is amazing. Kane is when you think of characters in wrestling, for me, WWE wise, it's hard. Like, the fifth person I always teeter on, because it could be so many, but it's Taker, it's Kane, it's Mankind, and you can insert all of the other one, but Mankind's probably his best. It's Goldust, and then the fifth can be a variety of different people.
I'm really impressed that you put Goldust in there.
I love Goldust.
I love Goldust too. I'm not disagreeing in any way. I just wasn't prepared for Goldust to be along those names, but it makes me love you even more.
Yeah, that was a great pay-per-view. I still think to this day, I think that's the better of the two Hell in a Cell matches people talk about. Mick Foley Undertaker wasn't really a match. It was essentially two spots that people talk about, but Michaels and Taker tore the house down with that match.
100%. I would agree with you. The Mankind Taker one, obviously everybody's going to love it because of those two spots. But do you want to know why I love it? Because it has nothing to do with either of those two spots.
Just Dr. Frank's in there.
Oh shit, yeah, he is. But no,
Dr. Frank pulls Mick Foley's tooth out of his nose, and then
yes, he does. That's 100% correct. But my reason behind me loving that match is Terry Funk gets chokeslammed out of his shoes, and I think that's hilarious.
Taker chokeslammed me. He ain't getting up. We had our first question here. Lindsay says, what has been your best memory since you started wrestling?
My best
we're gonna Tarantino this. It's gonna be all over the place.
Damn, yeah. I don't think that I can solidly pick one, but I guess I'll just go with the first one that popped into my head. My favorite memory in wrestling is we were wrestling in right outside of LA. Don't remember the city. Sorry. But we were wrestling Crime Time. And I'm 28 years old. So like my prime childhood, like Crime Time was the shit. Crime Time was my shit. So I've always been really appreciative and like borderline obsessive with tag team wrestling for like as long as I can remember. So to work those two guys was just one of the biggest honors that I've personally had in the 9 years I've been doing it. But I remember being so nervous that day and just feeling like a tremendous imposter syndrome, I guess you'd say. And I didn't feel like we belonged with them at that point, just from like how I thought they were acting towards us and like.
Well, dive into that because there's a little bit there.
It's just I was scared, but after like match went off tremendously. It's still one of my favorite tag matches we've ever had to this day, and I just remember Shad specifically pulling us aside after and like giving us this really long-winded pep talk and saying like literally bringing up like, sorry if we seemed shrill before.
Well, didn't you say during like when you were backstage going over stuff, they kind of Shad sent like you didn't talk to Shad the whole time. He wouldn't associate with you guys, and it was like he sent I'm having a brain fart. JTG to you, so he did all of the talking for the match and going over things,
but he
and
never said a word to us.
Never said a word, and you're like, he hates me. And then after the match, he was like, I was testing you, essentially. Like I was,
100%. And like I've never had a situation like that before. Like anytime I've worked with anybody, like a name or whatever, I've never been tested like that. Which, you know, during the time I was a nervous wreck, but in hindsight, that was probably the best thing that they could have done. I think they really brought out the best in us by like making us that nervous by making it a sink or swim moment instead of, hey, here's this match on some indie show, have fun. You know,
Yeah.
I felt like that made us care about it more than just like, oh, we're gonna go work Crime Time. It's like, oh, we're gonna go work Crime Time, and we better have our shit together, because if we don't, we're gonna look like idiots. So yeah, just kind of getting over that fear and that hurdle with them, and then like them showing us the love after. That's probably always gonna be my favorite moment.
And then you got to like kind of team with half of Crime Time later on.
Yeah, I did.
At Smash Master in your hometown mall. I mean,
yes,
that doesn't get much better, right?
I got kicked out of that mall several times as a teenager, and then I got to do that. So it was cool, full circle moment.
So transitioning from being a fan and going through the motions, you know, probably wrestling in your backyard and your bedroom and stuff like that. You meet somebody in high school, right? You guys become friends and realize you're both wrestling fans and say, man, we should. I'm sorry I'm telling your story for you, but
I'm just happy you remember it, because we haven't discussed this in like 3 years.
Yeah. Just shows I listen, right? Just don't tell my wife. Yeah, but you guys are decided you're gonna go find a school, and you end up finding one in your own backyard.
We did. That was completely random.
And we're talking about Keita Murray, by the way.
Keita Murray, my man.
Who had a great showing at the Collective this year.
Hell yeah, he did. My man
love that man.
Every time. Any place he's at, Keita's a star. And I don't have to say that. He knows it, and anybody that knows Keita's name knows it at this point. But if you're listening to this and you aren't keen on the Murray, go check him out.
Yes, please do.
But yeah, I met Keita when I was in 10th grade, and we always make a joke that like he's my best friend for almost 10 plus years now. And we always make a joke that like if it wasn't for professional wrestling, we would probably hate each other, because we couldn't be further from like the same person. We have such different personalities that somehow just kind of mesh together, but it's only because of wrestling. Because I didn't even like Keita before I started, you know, shooting the shit with him about WrestleMania. But that's how we actually became friends. I overheard a conversation Keita was having about going to WrestleMania, and I was like, oh, I used to like that. Keita single-handedly brought me back into it. I started watching it again every week. By the time I graduated, Keita was already almost a year into college, and we decided we were going to become professional wrestlers. So I told my scary mom I wasn't going to college, and Keita dropped out.
Your mom is scary.
Keita's mom's scary too. So like we both had to face some obstacles to start the journey. But they were both so supportive of us, and we ended up finding the RIP Backbreakers Training Center in Scranton, PA, and joined up, and the rest was history.
Yeah. Who was all in your opening class?
Me and Keita.
That was it? I was just used to?
At first, yeah. I'm trying to think. I feel like the other two that were in our class never really did stuff on shows. They kind of just fell off. So I don't even know if there were.
It's just crazy. Like there's such a timeline of like different classes that have gone through there that are still in the scene, that all of these are still close. So it's kind of fun to try to pinpoint who came when in what timeline.
Yeah. No, it is funny because like the classes I've seen, they're usually a lot bigger. Ours was just really small. Like our tryout even only had, I think, 5 people. And then when classes actually started, there was only 4 of us. And then
who were some of the veterans that were there?
Who are some of the veterans?
Are some people that have already graduated that are still in the business that were there at that time?
Well, it's funny. He was around and I was aware of him, but Rosh, whom I never met until years and years later, but his old tag partner Gus would always be down at our school helping us train. John Redbeard, Mike Mitchell, extra guys. Damn, I really can't think of anybody else that was there that like.
Was Diamond City there at the time?
No, they weren't. I didn't meet Brad and Eric until I was probably about half a year in, I actually met Brad and Eric at GSW.
Okay.
The first time I ever went there. They became way more involved with backbreakers down the line, but like at the time, they were still involved. Like they would still use the backbreaker students as kind of like fodder to bring new guys in, new faces, but they weren't actually there. But yeah, the first GSW show I did, met Brad, met Eric. Eric handed me his camera and told me that I was taking pictures that night. I've never even held a camera before that day.
Just the wind up ones.
Yeah. And he's like, this is like $1,000 camera. Eric, if you're listening and that camera was more than $1,000, and maybe it was, my bad. But point is, it was expensive. He's like, this $1,000 camera, don't drop it, don't mess with it. This does this and this does that. Okay, here you go. I gotta go get ready to wrestle. And I'm like, green as goose shit over here, just shaking. Like, oh, okay.
All the photos are blurry and going back real quick to your scary mom, the last mass show, we were all playing basketball before the show, which honestly is like one of my favorite moments in recent wrestling. Is just like all of us before the show shooting around and playing basketball. It's just so small and stupid, but it was so much fun. And your mom walked in and just has that strut, like I'll fuck you up strut. And I go, you jumping in? She goes, don't even give me that basketball because I'll kick all your fucking asses. And I go, I believe it.
That's my mom, man. That's my mom.
She is a treasure.
I feel like I talk her up a lot, but then people meet her and I don't even do her justice.
Oh, she should have a camera crew around her at all times.
Good, honestly.
Yeah. I've seen her beat people up. I've seen her chokeslam Tommy.
I didn't even teach her that. She just knows it. The one-handed technique too.
Yeah. Nancy Taker is the real one from George here in the chat. So how long into training before you were able to make your debut?
Well, it really wasn't that long at all.
I feel like having two people in your class, you get a lot more time to.
And that's 100% what it was. Me and Kita graduated in 6 months when we were there. Most of the other people, or at least like a year, sometimes more than a year. But we graduated in 6 months, so we had to have had. Hang on, I'm gonna do the math really fast. All right, boom. 5 months in, I had my first match. November 27th, 2014.
So I'm guessing either it was with you and Kita as a tag team, or you were stuck in a rumble.
No, my first match was actually against Kita.
Really? That's even more fun.
My first 4 matches were against Kita. And in my very first match with Kita, I hope Kita's listening to this. And this is my best friend, so if I sound mean, I'm not. But Kita used to have a really shitty drop kick, like the worst. Kita's really athletic, but for some reason, he just couldn't throw a drop kick. Like every time he would do it, he would like crotch me or like kick me in the belly button. And it just, and our
actually, it's probably more of an effective drop kick.
Honestly, yeah, but not fun to look at. But our original trainer kind of put our whole first match together from start to finish. Like we didn't have any real input on what we were doing, and there was a drop kick in there. So I told Kita right before we were about to go out, it's like, Kita, don't fuck this drop kick up, man. Like up here, boom. He's like, I got you. So he does the spot, shoots me off, jumps up, kicks me right in the goddamn mouth. And that was my first of 3 teeth that I am now missing because of the beautiful art of professional wrestling.
I love that.
3 down.
That's beautiful. Now, when did you guys decide you were gonna tag team and start that tradition? Journey?
Almost right after. I think, like I said, my first 4 matches were against Kita, and I'm pretty sure my 5th match was our first tag match. That was something that we always wanted, like way before we even started training or anything. That was just kind of our vision of what we wanted to do. So we were pretty upfront with our trainer of like, hey, like we think we'd be a really good tag team.
And that doesn't happen often. There's not a lot of people who go into the wrestling world, find someone and be like, yo, I don't want to run. I'd rather do tag over singles. That just doesn't really happen.
There's not. And like, honestly, to me, I think tag team wrestling and like singles wrestling are two completely different art forms. I don't even like to say like flavors of ice cream. They're just different. Like you have to understand tag team wrestling to have a good tag team wrestling match. If you don't, it'll just never happen. Yep. And to have two people that kind of get it from the jump, that's rare. That's something we saw a lot when we started tagging too, is just not every team around us, but a lot of them around us were just like mismatched guys, or just people they'd throw together, clashing gears, no sequence of anything. They no sense of the word team in their tag team. But yeah, we always really prided ourselves on that. Like, we wanted to be presented as a legitimate team, not just dudes in a tag match.
Now, how did you guys come up with the name idea? And then you guys had a little bit of a fun gimmick going into it as well.
Oh, we did. Honestly, I don't know if I ever told this story before. We got the name The Impeccables because my Instagram in high school was Impeccable Jess, and Kita liked the word. So we just took it from my old high school Instagram. And it made zero sense too. I remember the first time we met John Trotsky and told him who we were, he like looked at us and he was just like, do you know what the word impeccable means? And I honestly didn't. He explained it. It's like without flaws, perfection. It's like, look at you two. I don't see anything perfect about either of you. You guys look like shit.
You know, it's funny. I literally had a conversation with Trotsky at like 5 a.m. in the sanctuary one night, because we were both in like a shit mental state, and between us and a few of the students, and we're just like, let's all go to the sanctuary. And they're like, we're all here hanging out, just having like a fucking bond session. And I went there, and me and him just sat and talked, and you came up. And he spoke super highly of you and said, I don't care what anyone says. That kid's the king of Scranton. I'm very proud of what he's accomplished, and he's one of my favorite people to watch in wrestling. Oh, so years later, I think he thinks you're pretty impeccable.
I wish you'd say that shit to me, but no, John's always been very, very good to me and Kita. He basically trained us over. And a lot of the success that either of us have had, we at the end of the day have to kind of bring it back to him for it. He's been but he is
Here's the guy goes, Trotsky's a legend. He came in our Discord one night and he goes, Trotsky's a legend, called me a 6'2", nearly 300-pound fat person a twink. That's what Trotsky does sometimes.
Yep, that's a Trotsky thing.
Gears has a very soft voice, so Trotsky just heard his voice and goes, "Who's that?"
Yep.
Yeah, that was Trotsky. Well, it's funny that you say the impact, like with talking about the Impeccables. I've only ever seen you guys tag once, and that is at the sanctuary when Kita came home that one time, and you guys tagged at this at the sanctuary. I've always seen the eye on your gear, and I always wondered what the eye meant, and then asking you, and that's kind of how I learned about Kita through you, because I didn't meet that was the first time I really met Kita too. So everything I've ever heard of Kita was always just seeing what he does now in the scene, and then hearing stories of Kita.
Yeah, no, he's great, man. I am so happy for him, and I'm happy he's at where he's at, but damn, I miss him. Like, him coming in for that tag was just a world to me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He's you could, I think he was on 2 or 3 shows during the collective. He was at For the Culture. He had a great showing there. I believe was he at Effie's show?
Yes, he's been at a few of his now for the last few years.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. At one point in time, he was crowned like the Pride champion, correct? At one point in time, they had a PWI like Pride list or something like that, or they said like during Pride Month during Pride Month he won like a world championship in a Pride organization, and it was just like that's the hometown boy right there over in the West Coast, just fucking killing it.
He is, man. Like all the success to him in the world. He works at it and he gets it.
Mm-hmm.
Kid's a star.
Yeah. And then he's also a movie star. You know, you can
He
check
is
him
a
out
movie star.
on Netflix on the Jeffrey Dahmer show. He's in the club dancing.
I freaked out because he told me about that like a year before that show even came out, like when they were filming it. And I honestly completely forgot. It was a year.
Yeah.
So me and Bree were actually like watching it, and it didn't click in my head. I was like, oh wait, I knew he's in this. Oh shit, until he actually popped up.
He popped in the screen. I was like, wait a second. I paused it and rewinded it, and I was like, that's Kita, I think. And then you posted it like I think we were watching at the same time. And you posted, I was like, it was him.
It was funny. I told Bree I had to like rewatch the series because I felt like I wasn't actually watching the show, because any time that it wasn't just two people in one scene, I was just scanning every single extra in the back. Like, where's my guy? Where's my boy?
It was a great documentary series. It was done so well.
It was.
Yeah. So obviously he moves away. Impeccables take a little bit. I know we're jumping around. There's probably so much in between. If there's any other stories you want to get in there, please do. Now you're gonna enter, like, I guess your solo career.
So this is me. Well, I moved to California with him. I moved away.
Mm-hmm.
I moved away from him. But yeah, man, it was something I honestly wasn't excited about when I came back, because like I've never been a singles guy since I started, basically. So again, it was more so nerves than anything. Like, am I gonna be able to keep up with these guys? Like, at the time, I think I was wrestling for like 6 years, but in my head, I felt like I haven't been wrestling for like a year when it came to like running singles stuff. But that was another thing. It was just a challenge, and the challenge was just overcoming the fear and anxiety of it. And once I did, I fell in love with that too. I liked the opportunity to do that, because I felt like almost being forced to go out there on my own. I finally found who I was as a worker. Because before that, I knew the Impeccables. I knew Kit Raff and Keita Murray. I knew everything, like completely. Could write a whole comic book about it. Boom. But if anybody ever sat me down, just like, who's the Notorious KIT, I would like go in my shell. I wouldn't have an answer for it, because I never thought about it. So moving back here, the best part about it is honestly forcing myself to figure out who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And now, just like years later, I'm just getting more comfortable with it. Just more comfortable getting to know Kit Raff better every single time I'm out there. But yeah, I love it. How much
of your actual personality you think comes through who you are now when you're in the ring, or when you were a tag team?
Oh, now. Well, honestly, the same.
Really?
The same. I didn't really change anything up. I just had to. The biggest thing with working by myself was figuring out, like, how do I get my energy up without feeding off of somebody next to me? Because that was what always made it easy for me and Keita. Like, we've both had conversations that, like, we could just go out there and just literally let loose and not have any worry about anything, so everything will kind of translate smoothly. By ourselves, we couldn't do that, because like I can't say something stupid and then look over at Keita and like we'll laugh. You know, if I say something stupid and it's stupid, I'm gonna be like, ah, shit. Now what do I do? Freeze up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was essentially the same personality, but
yeah.
Now, like, it's just 100% me.
Yeah. Now you flew. How long were you flying solo before you found your coach?
Not long at all, actually. I want to say I found him almost instantly. Like, I can't even give you a timeline of how long it was before I got him. The story behind getting him, though, is hilarious. I only got managed by Coach because at the time I didn't have a vehicle. I needed a ride to a show. Coach had a whistle, and he reminded me of Bill Alfonso. And I wanted my own Bill Alfonso. So that's how Coach started managing me. Needed a ride to the show, and he blew a whistle.
And I honestly couldn't imagine a Kit Raff match without him. There's been a few times where he was not with us because having his baby, or being away just doing the dad stuff, and it's just like it's a different match when he's not out there with you.
It's true. It kind of goes back to what I was saying about like feeding off Akita.
Mm-hmm.
I've now gotten to the point where like I can feed off Coach a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't think I even realized that until he was gone. I was like, wow, I knew, I've always valued him and knew he was important, but he was gone. I was like, man, don't ever have no more kids. You're not allowed. Yeah. Snip it. Coach, I know you're listening. Snip it. You're done.
And you can check out a full interview with Coach in the previous episodes. Go back and check that out. It was very, very entertaining. I love Coach. And he brings that comic relief. I always say, dude, if Coach's pants don't fall down in the middle of a match, why are we even here? Why did I buy? Why did people buy a ticket? You know.
It is.
I had something there and I lost it. Coach's butt took it right out of me there. Here you go. Like in the chat, there's a question here. I'm gonna that was kind of somewhere I was going as well. But where do you think you stand currently as a professional wrestler? Like mentally, your dreams going forward. Like what are goals for you?
That's a solid one. So recently I've been feeling like I feel like I have a really good mind for the business, and I feel like I understand things pretty easily. I just don't always put that into practice with myself. So for the last, I think I started training kids at Backbreakers about 2 years ago now. And that's really when I kind of started figuring out like, oh, like I'm good at teaching. And then working with Rosh at Smash, like, oh, I'm kind of decent behind the scenes too. So right now, like the goals is just to elevate the people around me. I don't really see myself getting a contract or anything at this point. I'm still working as hard as I am, but like it's not in front of me on the vision board. So honestly, just helping Smash, making that the best promotion in this area, and helping all the younger guys around me, because I want this area to really thrive. Like I want this to be a legitimate professional wrestling hotspot. So yeah, kind of a weird answer, but
no, I love it. That's kind of where I figured you were going to go with it. Cause like, I don't want to say you're not motivated, because you definitely are, but you can definitely tell like in your mind state now, you're kind of like almost being selfless, where you're just like, you're almost in that, I would say like that Brad Eric phase where you're like, listen, I think I know realistically where I'm at, but I am talented and I do offer a lot. And here's how I can help the next people up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nail on the head. Yeah. I don't want anybody to think I'm like downing myself or anything.
No,
like
not
that.
at all. But I still think you got a lot in the tank, and I still think you're insanely fucking talented. And I kind of hope you travel a little more, but I definitely get where you're coming from.
I know. It's not like I'm still trying. It's just I'm kind of dipping my toes in other ponds, you know, seeing how things feel. I completely just blanked out on what I was saying.
I also feel like you take a lot of your energy that you would put into your own self, and you've been kind of helping Adina. I almost said her shoot name. Pursue her, because I think for a while she was kind of in that moment where she didn't know how to get to that next level, and I felt like you were like, let me take that back seat and help you push.
Yeah, and that's actually, thank you for saying that, because that's where my mind was going before. When you're saying like putting like certain effort in or like trying, I am. I just feel like I'm trying in like a different direction. Like I said, like I was saying before, is all my focus right now is just, I want to see how I can elevate the people around me. I am going to sound like an egotistical asshole right now, but I don't mean it in a bad way. I think I'm a really, 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 really good professional wrestler.
I agree.
I think I'm better than a lot of people around me sometimes. And I'm surrounded by really good people. My mind just gets things. But like I said, I feel like I have a mental issue putting my own thoughts into practice on myself. So I want to kind of just step back, help out, figure out what I need to figure out so I could help myself and then we'll see
Mhm.
what happens there. I'm still a young man.
I think I wanted to ask this question too, and if you don't want to answer, if it's too personal, you don't have to. But I felt like me personally, where I felt like your mind shifted a little bit, and this is where I was kind of wondering if this had anything to do with it. Is you had a match at, I believe, Sanctuary, but I think you might have done something before Sanctuary, but then it kind of worsened at Sanctuary when you tweaked your knee. And I remember you being in the back, and people have injuries and people go through things, but it felt like that kind of put a little bit of like, oh shit, in you. It seemed like
it totally did. I was that day, like I was more frustrated that I felt like I let my opponent down that day.
Oh my god, I need you and Mike to run that back when he's healthy, and because that was
no, that was
Tarzan, yeah. But it was building. You and Mike were supposed to build to something, and then you both
then we both got hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I've never met Tarzan until that day, and I thought like I felt like our chemistry together in the ring was really, really good. Like something
I love that he's in the scene messing with some people. Too. Like I think he's really talented.
No, he's incredibly talented, and I really, really, really want to run that back with him. I was just so pissed off because in my mind I felt like I was having a really good match. And then it kind of fell apart instantly, and it was because of my stupid leg. So I was in the back more so frustrated at that than anything else. But it did kind of open my mind up a little bit, thinking like long term with injury and stuff. Because I am only 20. I'm not even 28. I'm 27 right now, and I have had a decent amount of injuries in 9 years, so I do have those scary thoughts of like, I wonder how I'm gonna walk up the stairs when I'm 45, so you are right. It did kind of,
I just seen a mental shift in you from that night going forward.
No, you're 100% right. I would admit that. And
we never talked about this privately. I mean, at all. I'm sorry if I brought it up in a terrible setting, but care. I don't care. That's what makes the ABJ podcast good. You know what I mean? What was I gonna say too? Oh, speaking of Tarzan, so we had Sanctuary on Sunday, and they put a match on between Ricky and Fletcher Young, and then Trotsky's like, I need another match. I need like 10-11 minutes just to get something going, because the crowd we had more people in the crowd than we did wrestlers.
I saw the picture. I was
crazy. Impressed. It was awesome. It's so cool.
If anybody that knows anything about Sanctuary, that's a big deal.
That's a huge deal. For the season premiere, and then like I think almost close to 50 people watched it online consecutively, which is a great start to that. That we were putting a lot of effort into that to make that more of a thing. But so I run downstairs and I already see Andy across the, like from the top. I see Header. I'm like, all right, I can get Header in anything. And he's like, yeah, Header and whoever you want. So he kind of gave me permission to put something, pick two people. And I run down, I'm going towards Header, and I look to my right and Tarzan's sitting there. And I go, I don't think this match has ever happened. And if two people can just literally, I could just throw and say, hey, figure something out in the fly, ABC 1, 2, 3, get it together. It's these two. Absolutely. And they killed it. It was awesome.
Absolutely. Like, I gotta watch that back now.
Yeah, it's taped, but it's not out yet. But it's coming out. Yeah. It was like a pre-show match, but it was really, really fun. I definitely hope they have an opportunity to run it back where they can put something together. But just going on the fly and figuring out, it was really fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean,
it was
how Andy's been wrestling for an eternity.
He's got to be over 20, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming.
It's got to be close.
Tarzan's close to that too. Dude's been wrestling since I was in like middle school. He looks younger than me, so good for you, dog. Good for you.
I was like that. I looked at that match. I was like, yeah, this has to happen, right? Like, So let's talk about Smash Master. You have some stuff coming up. I think this one comes first, though, if I'm not mistaken. Is I think BYOB or BYBO? Yeah, is first. Yeah, right. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Is that this Friday?
This Friday, April 28th, wrestling on Adina Steele's birthday, and she's really mad at me. So y'all better come out because I'm gonna pay for this one.
Is she coming too?
Yeah, she's gonna be there.
Adina will be fun because I see right here in the bottom it says must be 21 or older to drink. So if Adina's not booked, I'm sure she's gonna be hanging out over there.
Yo, I promise she will.
Drunk. Oh my God. The biggest regret I've ever had in my whole entire commentary career is when we lost the footage at High Grounds because me, BP, and Drunk Adina called a 50-50 and it was gold. It was the best thing I've ever seen, I've ever done. And then we called a main event, and she was smashed, and it was fantastic.
Drunk Adina with a microphone is one of the scariest and most awesome things that can happen on anyone's live show ever. I highly recommend.
Yeah, it was great. But you will be in action. Talk about friends just going in there and beating the dog shit out of each other. Diamond City War Machines versus the Tater City Madman. Eric and Brad versus you and Masty. What can people expect if they buy a ticket here to this event for this match?
Well, we're gonna beat the absolute ever living fuck shit out of each other. All love, but no. Brad and Eric are two dudes that just don't mind getting punched in the face, and me and Rosh are going to gladly oblige and take advantage of that. Beers and fists. It's gonna be fucking gross. There's no story behind it besides the fact that we're gonna kick the tar out of each other.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put anything else over more than that.
It's gonna be a bunch of best friends beating the shit out of each other and still gonna hug afterwards.
Hell, and it's me and Rosh's tag debut together, so I had to do something special. So I am debuting my own personal Notorious KIT bibs, baby. I'm gonna be overalled up, dog.
Oh, we're getting hillbilly Kit Raff. I love it. Whoever's on commentary of that show, I'm fucking jealous. I think I'm getting picked up because obviously my car situation. I'm getting picked up by Alex for that show, so I will definitely be in attendance to come and support and watch. But it looks like a really fun show. It's going to be live music with musical guest The Fading Season at the Keystone Stage on Lackawanna Avenue, Elephant, PA. I hope I said that right. KeystoneStage.com for tickets. This Friday the 28th. All ages event, but you must be 21 to drink. Please come out and support. It's going to be literally punk rock meets professional wrestling. I've had so many guests on this podcast say that's where they got their wrestling roots, was literally wrestling at punk shows. So what a better way to go about doing that is this brand new promotion opening their first show, correct?
First show.
Yeah. And then we have coming up Pennsylvania Wild. I thought that was the actual poster, but there it is. Saturday, May 6th through 10 Civic Center. Doors open at 5. Show starts at 6. All seats $20. Kids under 12 free at Smash Master Wrestling. And you, Kit, will be in the main event versus a guy who I had on a couple weeks ago, Jay Bougie. I don't know if you got to listen to the episode yet. He had some choice words. He asked you to bring him a case of Capri Suns, and if you do not, then he will have to put you on the shelf like your girl was.
Oh, that's cute. I'm gonna stab a Capri Sun straw through his eye and then drink out his brain. How you
love
like that, Jay Bougie?
That's
Don't
crazy
be trash
shit.
talking with me, dog, because I'm gonna get manic.
I wish he was in the chat. That'd been amazing. But yeah, he said he's excited for the match. He has a lot of respect for you, but I think he's kind of seeing you as a stepping stone. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, who doesn't these days? And someday, if Bougie works hard enough, people will look at him the same way. I don't know if I'm supposed to be insulted by that. I love it. You got to get through me to get to somewhere you want to be. That means I'm already there, dog.
Yep. Well, speaking,
I love when people say that.
Speaking of a match that kind of represents that, but also it was a match that I felt like, for a while there at Smash, I think I was, and I told Rosh this a little bit, I was a little critical of your booking for a little bit there. I was like, I love watching you versus Diamond City, and I love watching you versus, but I've seen these matches 100 times, and there's so many people on this roster that I want to see Kit against. And as soon as I was literally making that complaint, the promo drops that day of you and MIT, and I was like, here we fucking go. This is what I wanted. I want to see Kit with that young generation and tangled up with this new blood. And now we're getting it. We got it with MIT. Now we're getting it with Bougie. Like this is the era of Smash Master and Kit that I'm pumped for, because it's kind of mixing this newer talent. How you're saying, I want to elevate people around me, and you're getting that new blood in with someone like you, of someone I really enjoy watching, and we're getting really fun matches out of it.
Yeah, I love it. Like, I personally requested to work with MIT, and then it just kind of fell into my lap almost immediately after. And it's because of exactly what I was saying before. I want to elevate, but I also want to test the waters a little bit. I want to see like who can swim, because I'm going to find out real quick. So guys like MIT, guys like Bougie, sink or swim. What are we going to do? MIT swam. MIT did the backstroke. I don't have no doubts that Bougie's going to swim too, but I'm going to make him work for it. I'm going to test him out. I'm going to see what he actually has. It's not going to be this. It's not going to be this. He's going to have to work for it, and I know he will.
Well, this is where he's good, and you're not too bad at this yourself, of getting in your opponent's head and making them maybe a little more frustrated when it comes to getting them off their game plan a little bit. How do you prepare for someone like a Bougie who's going to try to do that?
I don't have to prepare for Bougie. Bougie got to prepare for me, and that's not an insult towards Bougie at all. But I've been around. I'm only 27 years old, so when I say I've been around for 9 years, it makes me sound like an old man. I'm not an old man. I'm 27. But I've been around a lot of people. I know how to work with these kind of people. Bougie's been around for 2 years, so it's
the mental games though. He's definitely gonna come at you with things that are gonna try to push you or push your buttons.
Can't push me, dog. I'm too big. I'm too sturdy. You can't do it.
I love it.
You can try, but I can talk too.
I can't wait. I hope there's at least a promo.
There it is.
It's interesting because Bougie goes for that neck, and I've seen you try to go. I've seen you go for some necks too. I've seen you go for necks even when there's not cameras rolling. So I'd love to see maybe that side of behind the scenes Kit where he go. And I think this is the guy that pulls that out of you. Let's go back to the MIT match real quick. Like I said, you've been in this business 9 years. You've worked with very, very talented people. Where does MIT sit on people you've worked, and what do you think for him for a future?
Oh, he's right up there. If I had to make a top 20, I'd put MIT in it with the people I've worked. And 20 is a big number, but I've worked a lot of fucking people. MIT has an immense amount of talent that I know for a fact that he does not know that he even has yet.
I told him how many people want to work him, and he was blown away by it.
Because people who get it can see the other people who get it, if that makes sense. And MIT gets it. He just doesn't get that he gets it yet. But MIT, that's someone I've talked up before I worked with him, and now that I have, I'm gonna do it even more. Definitely a guy to watch. I'm telling you, within like a year or two, I'm not giving a big span. Dude's going to be making major power moves. Just got to keep doing exactly what he's been doing. But no, MIT right up there with a lot of the great people I've worked with. Very high praise.
The high tension team, and when I say team, I mean, high tension wrestling as well as Smash Master Wrestling are very good at bringing in amazing veterans, as well as some people who are very well established, as well as bringing in some young blood and some new faces. Between the two companies, between Smash and High Tension, who are some names out there that you're kind of, even Sanctuary, I mean, really too, because you kind of dip your toes in that pool. Who are some people you're looking at that have been coming through the 570 that you're like, I kind of want to tussle with them?
Dr. Ethan.
Ooh,
that's the one. No, that I really would like that though.
Ooh,
I'm a fan.
I'm a fan too, and I never put that together, and that would be fucking awesome.
Hell yeah! So any powers that be that are listening to this, no matter who you write for, I'm with that.
Have you wrestled Luca yet?
No, I haven't.
I'm a fan of Luca's work too. I think you two would be really well. I think you and the new champion over in Sanctuary would be fun to watch too.
Dude, yeah, let's talk about him for a second.
Prince Ahmed, by the way, if you're wondering who we're talking about.
Prince Ahmed. I think Prince Ahmed is one of the best wrestlers that I've ever met in my life.
He's in the same boat as MIT. He's like blown away when people are like, I want to like. He's humbled.
Which that's crazy to me.
Kayfabe, he kill everybody, but yeah.
That's crazy to me because he has a special kind of talent. To me at least, I have to separate him from everybody else. I really can't put him in a boat with anybody else. Just the creativity of his offense alone blows me away. but it's the stories that he can tell. Like I've never watched a match of his that I wasn't like sucked in for from the beginning to the end. He's also one of I'm not gonna lie, when I'm on shows, I don't watch a lot of the matches. I ask, like, hey, are you doing this? Are you doing that? But like, I'm not a big watcher unless I'm already done. I do not miss Ahmed's match. If Ahmed's on the card, I'm watching it. So
yeah,
I'm a little bit of a fan.
Yeah, I agree. When he won the title, I was like, this is what I needed in my life. He's unbelievable. I actually trying to get him on the show as well, but
real quick, just because we're on the subject of him.
Yes.
Yo, Ahmed, if we ever tussle, my man, I'm stealing all of your cool moves. I'm going to study all your highlight reels, and I'm just going to do all the cool shit first, dog. So you better brew up something else.
And I'm sure he can.
Any of your own stuff that you made up.
Yeah. He's my favorite to call on commentary because he just you can't. I mean, you could prepare and have an idea, but you have no idea what he's going to do that match.
No.
The only thing you got is if you've watched his matches before, the biggest thing you watch is you focus on the storytelling he does. And he's going to tell you in the match a limb, and he's going to pick a limb, and that limb is his target the entire match. And he's going to do the most creative things you've ever seen to attack that limb, and that's going to be the story of the match.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so good. So good.
And he's humble.
Yeah, insanely humble. Other names, anybody else out there?
Let's see. We got Ethan. We got Ahmed. We got Luca. Ricky Price. I really want to work Ricky Price, and I know
I need someone to beat him up for me. So if that would be,
but yeah. Like that's like my little son, dog. I can't throw the hate on him, but I do want to whoop his ass a little bit, just for again. I want to see what Ricky Price got.
I think I hate him because he's so good. Yeah, I think I hate him because he's good. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, yeah, that's another match I'd love to see.
Ricky Price. Trying to think. I feel like I could at least poop out one more name. I already wrestled him, but I haven't wrestled him since we were basically children, so it doesn't count.
Oh, in the chat.
Moonlight Sun, Mike Skyros.
Ricky Price says, yes, please.
You got it, buddy. Moonlight Sun, Mike Skyros. Mike Skyros, I just messed up your moniker, dog. So now you have a reason to fight me.
He called you Kite Raff, so it's okay.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Mick Skyros.
It's another match I'd like to see. He kind of came through not Sanctuary. He came through Smash for a show, and it's somebody I thought you guys would have good chemistry. I don't know if you ever worked before, but I think you and Sean Carr would be fun too.
So I have a fun Sean Carr story. Just because you brought that up. I haven't really ever worked with Sean Carr. I was actually supposed to last month, but things fell through. But real quick, first show I ever did outside of my training center was just some Rumble at PPW. Mm-hmm. And I was in there with Sean Carr, and he took a corner. So I started laying some shit in on him, right? As you do. Then I started throwing European uppercuts at him. Boom, boom, hit him with 2. What I didn't realize is that young Kit Raff didn't know how to fucking throw a European uppercut properly. So I was just kind of like smacking off his chin, and he got really pissed off, grabbed me, threw me into the corner, and then hit me with like 7 of the hardest fucking forearms I've ever felt in my life. Hard, but safe. Hit me in the right spot, but you woke me the fuck up. So he's hitting me. Boom, 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 boom. And he pulls me in. He's like, you stiff me, motherfucker. Boom, hits me again. I'm like, oh, fuck. Now I'm kind of freaking out in my mind because, like, I'm green as goose shit. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know what I really did. And then he pulls me in again. He goes, are you okay?
I love him.
And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, just be careful. And then puts me back in the corner and walks away and goes to work with somebody else.
I love that. Yeah, it's a match I'd love to see. And then obviously when Mike gets better, I'd love to see you and Mike. We never got that intergender tag that was being teased everywhere.
That was cursed.
It's a tag match we want to see, and then 2 singles matches we need to see out of that.
I want to work with both of them really bad, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm low key afraid to, because I think that me and Philly Mike might just have like a back and forth curse going on, where anytime we're supposed to wrestle, one or both of us gets hurt. So,
or you'll probably wrestle each other, and because you're both psychotic and crazy and want to do the craziest shit and get the biggest pop of the night, you'll probably come up with something extremely stupid that realistically, Rosh, they're gonna not tell you they're gonna do, and then you're gonna find out about it after it's already happened.
listen. Rosh has me on a very loose leash.
I think if that match ever happens, you better tighten it up. You better be in the room when they're going over their match. But honestly, I think you and Riley would be a good match too, because honestly, like Adina's probably one of the only wrestlers on the scene that I can honestly say I've watched most of her career. Whether it be Sanctuary, PPW, like when she goes out and does other stuff, I don't see that, but I do go and watch highlights and stuff. Yeah. But I've seen her like as early as possible and then as recent as possible. And I really do think like one of her better matches she had, and when she was younger, that actually elevated her to that next step, was used to at that GSW reunion show, because you didn't treat it like an intergender match. She came in there and you treated her just like everybody else, and you guys kicked the shit out of each other. And she left that match a different wrestler than when she came in.
That's all I wanted from that match. That was my first intergender match too. I think I might be lying, but it's the last one I remember. Mm-hmm. And that was the mentality I had going into it, because I love intergender wrestling. I just don't like when it's the same story. Yeah, I'm a man and you're a woman, and I don't know.
And I think that's where I think you and Riley would have a good intergender match, because I feel like she's just as insane, and she's a Samoan trained. Like, she's like, if you're gonna hit me, fucking hit me. Don't like, let's get serious with it. Like, people tell her, she says it all the time, like, oh, you're an idiot. She goes, yeah, they told me they're gonna kick me and to get my hand up, and I didn't. I just took it. I was like, you're not Riley. But I think that would be a good match too, is you and Riley.
I would love that, honestly.
Yeah.
After I worked at Dina, I wanted to do like more intergender stuff, just because of how much I loved that one. So I'm very open to that.
One day we'll be able to call it wrestling with no labels. I agree, Eric. And I think that's kind of how we treat it in this. Like, I know when I'm on commentary, I don't even say the word intergender match. I treat it like a regular match. That's just me personally. But speaking of two people we just talked about, that would be great matches. We're lucky enough once again at Smash Master Wrestler to have this match. We're gonna have the two winless talents right now at Smash Master Wrestler, Ricky Price versus Riley Crow. One will leave with a W. Who will it be? But listen, like we just said, there's two people that you would match up stylistically great with that we're going to see wrestle each other. And I'm low-key really excited for this match.
I have a prediction for it.
Let's hear it.
All right, you ready for this one? It's a doozy. Double count out.
Hate that.
Both fucking lose.
I want Riley to win. I'm being a little biased, you know. I want that Ricky Price losing streak to keep going. It's amazing.
I got to realistically pull from my boy Ricky. That's my son, and
I feel that
Riley beat up my man Masty with like a stick. So
she did,
respectively.
Yeah, respectively. Fuck you. She fucked herself up with that stick spot too. She hit a loose board and fucking destroyed her leg. I haven't seen her, so I was supposed to go see her at that birthday party, but she just recently had a nice little shiner on her eye. She had all swollen shut. She took a shot. Didn't put her hand up properly is what happened.
Probably. That's why we do that, girl.
She's like, I'll take it. Bow.
Riley, I'm missing 3 teeth. That don't have to be you.
She would look badass though. Yeah. Imagine her and Mike both missing the front.
Oh yeah, actually, keep putting your hand down. I like the visual of that. Or just paint it black before you go out.
That'd be great. Yeah, you and Mike just coming out, fucking missing the 1 digit. That'd be great. MIT versus Kit Part 2. MIT in the chat.
What's up, dog? You try to get this again? What's good? I do need my win back. So that's something
probably the best finish in Northeast Pennsylvania wrestling history after that match. with that fan coming up, flipping him off, and then banging one on Matty D. Best finish to a wrestling match of all time. That was I still like if I'm sad or I'm having a bad day, I just put that on. I just watch that 30-second clip because it just warms my heart. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Honestly, MIT, you need to hold that moment in your pocket for forever because that is just pure chef's kiss heat. Great heat. Fantastic. You did
it's
that.
The best.
That's an emotional response that you created.
Yeah, he said, "Come get this smoke, son." There it is. Team Alec Black.
Team Alex Black.
I'm not sure what that one means, Lindsay. I'm sorry.
That's the fan that flipped him off.
Oh, that's Alec. Okay, I didn't know his name. Sorry, Alec. He probably doesn't watch this. No one does. That's not true. I'm close to 1,000 plays on audio. Hopefully this episode puts it over the top. I'm really close, and then close to 700 subscribers. So we're getting there. People watch this. What am I saying? Yeah, man. We hit the hour mark. It went by quick. If anyone has any last questions, please put them out there. Kit, is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to put out there? We didn't even get into like outside of wrestling stuff, so we have to have you get back on and talk nerdy shit with.
Please, because I'm way more fun to talk to when it has to do with things that aren't professional wrestling.
Well, we're gonna do a horror movie review eventually. Like we're gonna go and we're gonna go see a horror movie together. We're gonna sit in the car like with me, you, Heidi, and Adina, and we're gonna go see a movie and review it. There's actually one out right now that looks like a good one to go review.
Is it Evil Dead?
I think it's Evil Dead.
Oh boy, I'm with it, man.
It's getting good reviews, but yeah. So we got to do that, and I think the plan is when the new Turtle movies come out. I think me, Eric, when we want to try to get like a group of people together to go and have like a post wrestle hangout. Or
I am down to do the Turtles. I am Raphael always.
I'll take Casey Jones. I won't even fight for a turtle spot. Just give me the cool mask. Surprisingly, Alex Black, Kit, and Masty on Friday. I disagree. Diamond City War Machines wins unless I'll do 3 consecutive shots of tequila. I don't care. But listen, if I'm going there, I don't definitely have to drive, so I'll figure something out.
John, definitely still the plan. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with a tortilla.
Definitely still the plan, Eric says, for the Ninja Turtle movie. But yeah, we definitely have you back, and let's talk some pop culture and nerdy shit. Kit, where can people find you besides the links below?
Right. At Twitter, Kit Raff. Instagram, _notorious_K.I.T. Don't find me on Facebook.
He doesn't exist on Facebook. Yeah, he doesn't exist. Yeah. Also, no TikToks. You're not a TikToker.
I'm not a TikToker.
No doing TikTok dances. No YouTube channel.
I don't even know.
Yeah. There is a pro wrestling tees if you want to buy merchandise.
Hell yeah, pro wrestling.
And Kit's merchandise is a cat. And there's different variations of the cat. There's a cat with a Jason mask. There's a whole bunch of things. And that is Shoot Your Cat. That's legit Kitty Raff.
So if you buy any of my shirts, you can get this cool Kitty Raff tattoo on your chest. That is close. That is my
own one. I own the Friday the 13th one. Well, actually, real quick, because you are a horror movie guy, I want to get one more in here, one more pop culture, like at least one in the chat. I'd be pissed off if we didn't talk about it all. I need your Mount Rushmore or your desert island. You could take. I'll let you take 5 with you. 5 horror movies you can take on a desert island. You're gonna watch forever.
Am I allowed to take sequels or is it like one?
No, any movie you want. 5 movies. Okay. No franchises. Movies. Don't cheat and take like a whole franchise. You take one movie.
Okay. All right. Fine. Halloween 1978.
Original. Yep.
The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Love that.
Oh, I can't take 2 from the same one?
If you want to.
All right. This one's going to sound really weird. Real horror fans, please don't judge me for this. But the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation with Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, my goodness.
Only because he's just so ridiculous in it that it makes me laugh. So if I'm ever having a really bad day on this desert island, I'll watch Matthew McConaughey try to act, and I'll laugh.
It is very entertaining.
The Shining.
Okay. You know what's fun? I like the TV Shining better than the movie version.
I love the TV version of The Shining. only because I love the book so much.
Yeah.
But I'll always be a sucker for that movie. And then my last one. Shit. Dawn of the Dead. The OG.
Oh my Kit. This is why I knew I loved you as a human being.
I needed a zombie movie. That whole thing, I was just thinking of which one.
That is my favorite. That's probably my favorite movies go Halloween, original Halloween, first Scream, Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
They're my 3 movies.
Damn, I should have brought a Scream movie. That's okay.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
That would be 6 though.
Yeah, that's my 3 movies right there. And like the thing is with the horror franchise, is like when I was growing up, I loved Halloween. Like Michael Myers was my favorite because I think I liked Michael Myers and I loved Freddy. And then as I got older, I was like, Michael Myers movies weren't that good after part 2. Everything kind of sucked. They're terrible, and they got rebooted. Like everyone's upset about the reboot. I'm like, do you know this movie's been rebooted 4 other times?
And for the record, I love the reboots. So anybody who wants to talk shit on these new ones, come see me.
I didn't see the new one yet, but the ending of the second reboot pissed me off some. Or he turns into Keanu Reeves and just beats everybody up and takes on the whole neighborhood. I hated it. And then I as a younger kid, I didn't like Friday the 13th. I didn't like Jason. And then I got older and I rewatched them all, and I was like, Freddy's Freddy. You're rooting for Freddy the whole time. The only time you're not rooting for Freddy, and it's my favorite Freddy movie besides the original, is I like New Nightmare, where it's like Freddy was in the real world, and people hate that one.
Dude, that is my favorite Freddy.
Because Freddy was scary.
Time.
Like Freddy was scary in that movie.
Shit, because he was real. That's my favorite Freddy movie of all time. I'm so happy that you love it. And you're right, people hate that movie. I get so much shit for loving that. And
then the demon paint where he had to he was all demonized. It looks so badass. Yeah, so badass. I actually like the reboot too because Freddy was also deranged and scary and sick in the head, and I thought it was done very well.
I've actually not seen the reboot yet.
You should check it out. It's not terrible.
I will, because you're the first person that's ever said anything positive about it, but I trust you a lot more than the people that have told me it's ass.
Yeah, so like for a long time, I can't really say the verbiage on stream or I'll get, whatever in trouble. But like Freddy was always hinted at being something.
Right.
But he never was. He was just a murderer.
Right.
In this movie, they play with your emotions as if he was that or not. And they actually like make it a point of the storyline. And then you think it was fake and he was killed because it was false allegations. And then you find out later, like, nope, he was a piece of shit scumbag. Yeah.
All right. Now I'm actually going to watch it.
Yeah, I liked. Where do we stand on Freddy vs. Jason? Great movie. Also a great soundtrack.
I love Freddy vs. Jason. I don't know. Watching it as an adult, I can understand why maybe other adults at the time thought it was horrible. But the nostalgia behind it, dope ass soundtrack, ridiculous scenes that like I'm a person that I like my movies to be so bad they're good sometimes. And
it wasn't even horror. It was like Expendables horror. It was like an action, funny, like.
And give me any movie where Rey Mysterio technically plays Freddy, and I'm gonna always put up that movie, no matter what.
Yeah, it's really good. But then as I got older, I completely flipped. What my favorite movie then became Friday the 13th, and then I really also like this franchise, and then the TV show came out, and it boosted it so high for me. The Chucky TV show, so good, so good.
That shit. I have to. I gotta get Bree to watch, or whoever the fuck that is.
This is why I don't like learning real names. You yelled at me in a car one time. You're like, why are you keep calling me Kit? I'm like, because if I learn, I'll fuck it up. You're in a drive-thru at Wendy's, and you're like, you can call me. And I'm like, no, don't tell me. Don't say it.
But I got to get Adina on board with watching that with me.
It's real. She'll love it. If she likes those movies, she'll like it because they do a good job tying everything together.
She's hit or miss with horror movies, but I've learned that like if I can sell her on the story before I put it on, she's cool with it.
Did you see Cocaine Bear yet?
I actually just saw Cocaine Bear 2 days ago. So
it's so much fun.
It's something.
Bro, when the dude gets shot, I audibly laughed out loud in the theater. Me and my wife were like, dude, we were audibly laughing out loud the whole movie. Like, and nobody else was but us. It was so funny.
Me and Adina put it on, and like there was a point where we kind of like looked at each other and was like, this is one of the worst, best, stupidest, funniest movies
Love it.
I've
love
ever
it.
seen in my entire life. I was only watching it for Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
the
kids stole the show. How much coke do you do? A tablespoon, and they just eat it. The dude from Modern Family was really good. Go check out Cocaine Bear, but go in, just have a good time watching it. Don't expect a masterpiece.
Please don't let Ray Liotta make you think it's going to be like a classic.
I can't believe he did that, and I'm happy he did.
Oh, me too.
But Ice Cube, dude, how awesome is Ice Cube's kid as an actor?
He is?
Yeah, that was the black dude. That movie's Ice Cube's kid from Straight Outta Compton. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
The one that became. Oh, sorry, spoiler alert. Actually, I won't say anything. But later on he becomes like he's a major guy the whole time. But yeah.
No shit.
That's Ice Cube's kid.
Well, I learned something today.
Yeah. Well, listen. All right, we went above. I love it. We can do this forever, and I don't want to keep you all day long. Episode 50 in the fucking books with Kit Raff. I appreciate you, my guy. You've always been someone who gives me honest feedback, whether it becomes my content or since the Tornado Tag days and since everything else. Commentary, you're always giving me positive notes. You've been a pillar in this business for me, man, and I appreciate always looking out for me and being a good friend. And I love you, my guy. You're one of the good ones in the business, and I want nothing but success for you.
I love you too, man. And thank you for giving us the platform to talk our shit.
Anytime. I love the problem is like I wish I had more time and I made more money doing this, because I would do an interview every day to give everybody an opportunity. I hate going to shows and everyone's like, why haven't I been on your podcast? And I'm like, you know how I'm booked? Like I literally am booked from now till all next month. And then this is my list of everybody who wants to be on the podcast. I'm like cramming names in.
For any of the boys listening, I was pre-booked like a month and a half in advance.
I do. I literally I book way out. Now. Yeah, I book way out in advance. Actually, do you want to see some teasers for next month? I'll do it here.
Absolutely.
All right. So far confirmed. I'm not giving episode numbers here. This is on purpose. We have from New Jersey, IWA's former breakout champion, Brandon Downey, coming on the podcast.
Hey,
one of these guys, He's high on life. He's always the life of the party. He is our dude. The dude. Love this guy. If you haven't gone and seen Sanctuary Stampede yet, the dude and Ricky Price have a very funny spot where the dude pulls out a bag of gummies and then feeds them to Ricky Price, and they have a gummy off. But it doesn't affect the dude because he knows his own stash. Ricky Price.
That's my spot. Whoa. You can have it, but that's a Kit Raff original, and John Trotsky better fucking admit it.
John Trotsky rolled in the ring and stole the bag off him.
I bet he did.
He put the camera down, rolled in the bag, and took this gummies, thinking they were legit.
That was legit my finish at Sanctuary when I first started. I would come to the ring with a cup of promethazine, and I would fool my opponents into drinking it, and then they'd get all fucked up, and I'd roll them up. I'm not kidding. This is.
I'm glad to see that drugging people at the Sanctuary is still a thing.
Yeah,
not shoot. But anyway, when it comes to ABJ Podcast, it's my house. But this night, whose house is it? It's Ed House.
Ed House.
That one's gonna be a fucking nightmare, and I can't wait for it.
Yo, shout out to Ed House for coming back to the business, because
I love that dude.
Been missed.
Over under on how many times cock is said.
Oh well. You're running an hour-long show.
Yeah.
So
Another guy you know really well. He's a rocker. He's a roller. It's Squid Sterling, baby.
Hell yeah, my man Squid.
A veteran of the game, someone I'm a giant fan of. I respect this guy to death. I think I wish we can clone him and put one of him in every locker room, one of him at every show. Former Chikara, the guy who broke the internet for the very first time in professional wrestling, Deshaun Pratt.
Hell yeah. I missed Deshaun Pratt too.
Another guy from the Jersey scene. You can see him on GTS. You can see him at Shore Star Wrestling. Jay the Key Evans, and he legit sent me that photo. I love that for him that he went with the crop top photo. And then the interview that I think that's gonna mark it down. Every month has that one interview that people are like, "What the fuck? Is that a real thing?" And this is happening. And I don't know. It's either going to be a nightmare, or it's going to be the greatest thing we've ever seen, or it's going to be a lot of both. I have the craziest guest ever booked. You've seen him on plenty of platforms. It is the one and the only Julius Smokes.
That's going to be a thing.
Holy shit. I hope I'm still monetized or allowed to be on the internet after that interview, because anything is possible. But that is next month's guest. I still have 2 open spots. I'm waiting to hear confirmation. If those 2 people don't pull in, I do have 2 replacements, and I'm telling you right now, they are also bangers. This whole list is bangers. I'm not gonna lie. There's not one person on here you don't want to hear from. But yeah, that's next month. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Kit, once again, I love you, brother. And we will see you on Thursday. We are back with another episode with Cosmic. So we will be back with that one. And then we end the month on the 30th on a Sunday with that no good piece of shit scumbag Ricky Price.
My son.
Yeah, this the son of Kit. I'll see you guys next time. Here's some music by the Converse Kid, Billy Trey. If you're a wrestler, podcast, or anything, and you need music like this for your outro, intro, coming down to the ring, whatever it may be, hit this kid up. He's super talented. And here's the proof why.